So how did we get here? The world couldn't have always been an ecological tragedy. Where did we go so wrong? Industrialization was the wrong turn that left this earth in Dumpsville. Now don't get me wrong, the introduction of planes, trains, and automobiles created the global community with which we exist in today. But we're stuck in the past, using outdated technology and draining our natural resources. These behaviors are irresponsible, and the consequences are permanent. And though there are regulations and laws to protect the environment, many factors aren't taken into account by those in charge making decisions. A perfect example of this is when in 2000, Kings Park Energy and PPL Limited, a power plant building company with power plants all over the world, proposed a 600 megawatt single-cycle power plant to be built at the corner of Town Line and Old Northport Road. If you take a look at the map, towards the middle, you'll see the intersection, and you'll also note that there isn't very much there. It's actually pretty much a rock quarry and some sand, dirt, and whatever else. For PPL and Kings Park Energy, it seemed like the perfect place to put a power plant. But for me, and my family, and the people who live, we felt like Kings Park Energy and PPL Limited literally wanted to put their power plant in our backyard. My house was less than a mile away from the site. Within the confines of the map that you're looking at right now, around the area where PPL would have put their power plant, there are over 14 schools in 3 separate school districts, over 25 parks and beaches, 4 libraries, hundreds of residencies, as well as almost 20,000 residents, less than a mile away from a primary school and my high school. And not only that, they wanted to put it in a location across from the town of Huntington waste-to-energy facility, aka the incinerator, and down the block from the Huntington Town dump. And additionally, this site was located less than 5 miles from Keyspan Energy Northport Power Station, the largest oil-fired electric generating station on the East Coast. Perched amid Long Island's beautiful North Shore between Northport Harbor and Crab Meadow Beach, the Northport Power Station was built in 1967, very old, and today is the #1 polluting plant on Long Island and the second most polluting plant in the Northeast. Because of its old age, it's exempt from the Clean Air Emissions Act standards. With this sleeping giant just a short ride up the road, a new power plant could be just what our community needed. However, with the property being located in the town of Huntington, the cost of the project would affect those townspeople, people in parts of Comac and East Northport. However, Kings Park, just east of the site, would receive a tax cut because the power plant would cause property values to go down. Additional traffic during construction and once the new jobs were filled at the plant would affect everyone in Comac's day because they're driving right through our town the same way we'd go to drop the kids off at school, the same way the buses go to get the kids off to school, and the same way everyone goes to get to work. This whole thing seemed like a terrible mess, and on top of it, the Northport Power Station was sort of like an old relic. My dad painted those stacks, which are 600 feet tall, when he was about my age working as a bridge painting company. But I digress. The community refused to let PPL and KPE get their way. There would be no new power plant as long as the Town Line Association had anything to say about it. Comprised of PTA members, members of the Comac School District, board directors, teachers, concerned parents, and their children, the Town Line Association sought to bring awareness to the community members through the use of block captains, as well as protests against the power plant and the havoc it would wreak on our community. Members of the Town Line Association were very vocal about their disagreement with the construction of the proposed power plant and gained local and regional media attention. After realizing the inherent failure of their pursuit, PPL backed out of the project. Looking for another electrical power provider to sell the energy the plant would be making, Kings Park Energy looked to Long Island Power Authority, or LIPA, the owners and operators of the Northport Power Station, to buy their power for distribution. Kings Park Energy never had a shot at LIPA buying their power because LIPA is trying to look out for the best interests of the general public. They unfortunately operate a variety of environmentally unfriendly power plants only out of necessity. There isn't the funding available to modernize these facilities, and tearing them down is completely inconceivable because of the number of people who would be affected by the power plant being out. The power plant that Kings Park Energy proposed could have been an upgrade for LIPA, an opportunity to shut down Northport forever. However, LIPA was an organization of the people who lived on the island and helped provide power to the island. They weren't a company run by some big shot investor, but an organization made up of the same people we'd see at church, or running out to the grocery store, or at their kid's soccer game. They heard their community's outcry loud and clear. Without someone to purchase the power plant would make, Kings Park Energy was out of luck. The applications to construct and operate the proposed gas-fired, simple-cycle electric-powered generation facility, and today that plot of land is still just a walk quarry, some dirt, and some really huge potholes.